Shabbat Shalom, family. It's your brother Woodrow. Back yet again. All praises to the Most High. Apologize, I ain't give y'all nothing last week, but like I always say, a wise person speaks because they had something to say. Fools speak because they had to say something. I ain't really have exactly fleshed out what I wanted to say last week, but this week I have a specific message, and it's something that we touched on before, but I remember I sung at a funeral one time, and the pastor was like, why did he know that the people in his congregation or whatever was like, you just keep speaking on this same subject. When you gonna speak on something new? He's like, when y'all get this one. So something right here I think that a lot of people still ain't get. So we gonna revisit it, and maybe I ain't even get. Maybe that's why I just keep on resonating with me. But speak on it today and prayerfully we'll get it. We move on to something else. Not that we haven't talked about other stuff, but keep coming back to this, keep drawing back to this. So let's get into it. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 4, verses 20 through 28. Observe the opportunity and beware of evil, and be not ashamed when it concerneth thy soul. Verse 21. For there is a shame that bringeth sin, and there is a shame which is glory and grace. Verse 22. I had to underline this one, highlight it. Accept no person against thy soul, and let not the reverence of any man cause thee to fall. My Uncle Junior, shout out to him, he always used to say that, and I don't even think he read the book of Sirach, but he used to say it all the time, reverence no man. This is verse 23. And refrain not to speak when there is occasion to do good, and hide not thy wisdom in her beauty. Verse 24. For by thy speech wisdom shall be known, and learning by the word of the tongue. Verse 25. In no wise speak against the truth, but be abashed at the error of thy ignorance. Be amazed at how much you didn't know. Verse 26. Do not be ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river. Verse 27, another one that I highlighted, and 28. Make not thyself an underling to a foolish man, neither accept the person of the mighty. Verse 28. Strive for the truth until death, and Yahuwah shall fight for thee. This is Psalms chapter 14, verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool have said in his heart that there is no Elohim and no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So I read that as a reference because it said, make not thyself an underling to a foolish man. And that's to show who is the fool. The one that said there is no Elohim. They don't believe in the Most High. They fools and don't be up underneath them. This is Sirach chapter 4, verses 20 through 28 in the Good News translation. Same thing we read, but just in the Good News for clarity. Take advantage of opportunities, but guard yourself against evil. Don't underrate yourself. Verse 21. Humility deserves honor and respect, but a low opinion of yourself leads to sin. Verse 22. Do not let others have their way at your expense. Do not bring on your own ruin by giving up your rights. Verse 23. Never hesitate to speak out when the occasion calls for it. Don't hide your wisdom. Verse 24. Your wisdom and education can be known only by what you say. Verse 25. Do not, however, go against the truth, and remember that you do not know everything. No matter how much you know, you don't know everything. None of us do. Verse 26. Don't be ashamed to confess your sins. There's no point in trying to stop a river from flowing. Verse 27. Don't allow yourself to be dominated by someone who is stupid or show partiality to influential people just because somebody have a position of like influence or fame or popularity or whatever like that. Don't feel like you underneath that person, don't be, show respect, but don't just make yourself an underling. Like I say, don't just try to be all up underneath them. Don't be what we used to say when I was in school, like biting out of them, or if I wasn't holding these scriptures in my hand, don't be DRing, and you can look up and see what that means or whatever. Or maybe I'll put the little emojis or something up on the screen. D-Riding. I'll leave it at that. Excuse me. Verse 28, I digress. Stand up for what is right, even if it costs you your life. So Psalms chapter I'm gonna put the chapter and the verse up there, but it said, who make it into the Most High's secret abide and secret assembly. It said, those who like to be the closest to him. It said, those who swear to their own hurt and change not. So even if it's going to put you in a bad position to stand up for the truth, even if it's going to put you in a bad way or make you have no friends and nobody to stand up for the truth, do that, because when you do, you isolated, but the Most High will take up for you. Like I say, when even if your father and mother forsake you, then when that happens, that's when the Most High take you up. So don't even worry about who you might lose for standing up for right and standing up for the truth, because even if you got nobody, you got the Most High when you're doing that. And him plus you is a majority, no matter who you going up against, no matter how many you going up against. If you got him on your side, that's the majority right there, and that's all you need to win, for real. So many stories about it in the Bible, so many isolated incidents and reports and testimonies that people have given, man, for not to believe that. But let's move on. Let's get this Psalm 14:1 out of the Amplified Bible. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. They're going to say, it says, the spiritually ignorant fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have committed repulsive and unspeakable deeds, doing anything. There is no one who does good. Verse 2, Yahuwah has looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand. Basically, that means to act wisely. Who basically, you know how I say to act wisely here, I'm just thinking of like when I was young, I had a big cousin who was like an aunt to my cousins, but a big cousin to me, but everybody called her aunt, so I call her aunt too. So when she used to come around, like she ain't play no games. And so like that her favorite line before she like got on somebody, she'd call your name and you look around, you know what you done already, but just to show that she caught you, like act like you know here. Act like you know. And that's what's funny that it say right here, if there are any who understand. So act like they know. He's looking to see if any was going to act like they know. Who truly seek after Elohim, longing for his wisdom and guidance. Not just because they want something from him, or not just because they think he's a genie and he's just going to grant all your wishes or whatever, but they truly seek after Elohim, longing for his wisdom and guidance. Verse 3, they have all turned aside together. They have become corrupt. There is no one who does good, not even one. That reminds me of that scripture that say the Most High have made man upright, but we have sought after many devices. Like he made us all right and to do the right things, but so many different things on this earth that we sought out to do that was against his will, and so much stuff we let ourselves get fascinated with. Like I'll use me for example. When I was really, really young, like when I first started talking and stuff, like early, like 1 year old or however old I was when I started talking, it was pretty early. But anyway, all I used to do, like my dreams and everything was just about the Most High. Like I used to dream that the Messiah, when I was little, I used to dream that like he came over my house and we cook him a steak dinner and stuff like that. And I used to get my dad, he was really good with like arts and crafts and stuff. He made me like a out of paper, made me a little hat, and I said that was my turban because I wanted to dress like how they used to have him dressed in the pictures and stuff like that. And I had a bathrobe, and they bought me like an orthopedic cane and a little sheep. I'm having my mom a little sheep, and I wanted to pose up like I was the Good Shepherd and walk around the house like that, because that was one of the portraits that they had in my at the house for me in my room. And that was all I used to be like not fantasized, but like captivated by. Not the word I'm looking for is not coming to me, but I was basically obsessed with like the Bible and stuff like that. My granny used to read me the Bible. I was a little teeny boy, like 3 or 4 years old. She used to read me from the book of Revelations. all type of stuff, man. But that's all I was surrounded with, and that's all I took in, and that's all I was excited by. But then one day, I discovered Transformers, and I discovered Mass Crusaders and He-Man and all that stuff. And my whole obsession with the Most High and the things of the Most High, it didn't go away, but it kind of sort of took a backseat to the many devices that was created all around, to distract us and to get our attention and to grab our imagination and stuff like that. So that's just one example, but there's so many ways in life where as though we start out upright and we start out all about the Most High. And I'm not saying that these things are bad, by the way, that I just mentioned, but it's just like all things in moderation. But when it comes to the Most High, that's supposed to be our main focus all the time. Where somebody say, let the main thing be the main thing and stay the main thing. But I was just using my little example there, but I'm sure anybody who's watching can insert their own thing of where they was putting the Most High first, and then something came along that captured their imagination, captured their attention or whatever like that, and caused the things of the Most High to take a back burner to the point where by the time we finished doing the other things, we ain't had no more time for the Most High. We sleepy by the time it come to check in with the Word, and tired by the time it come to, do whatever devotions that it was for him, even to pray. Some people say they even had to put time on their schedule to pray because they be so tired by the time they finish doing all the things of the world. And some stuff ain't even stuff we go looking for. Some stuff is stuff that we have to do in order to survive, like working and stuff like that, And some people don't have jobs where as though they sitting at a desk or something like that, and they have spare time that they can set time aside to read a little bit of the Word or do stuff like that. They like really intensely doing whatever their job is. I remember my first job was not my first job, but my first job when I came back into the workforce after being a part of the entertainment industry or whatever. Like my first job, I walked literally 13 miles a day. And it was like constantly just doing physical stuff. So it's like when I did get any of the Word, it was like they have like little earbuds or whatever, headphones, and I would listen to some gospel music, or I would have like some scriptures sometimes that would play, and I would get it like that. But as far as like actually having some time to sit down and read and stuff like that, maybe when I got home. But like I said, like some people, I said some people, but sometimes even with me, by the time I did settle down and sit still for a second and think I was going to do some reading, as soon as I opened that book, slump. You feel me? But, there's so many, we just got to make sure that we take that time. Because if we give him some time and we, do what we supposed to do by him, he going to make sure everything is right with us, That's how we keep ourselves on the right track, and that's how we keep ourselves in his good graces, spending time with him. Any friend, anybody that you have a relationship with, you had to put in time with them. You had to make time for them. Even if, like, think about when you're in a relationship with somebody and it's in the quote unquote honeymoon phase or whatever, honeymoon stage of the relationship when y'all first getting together, you'll stop what you're doing to make time. But then once you get comfortable with that person, a lot of times you'll stop making time, you'll stop doing the things that you used to do. And what would that usually lead to? Either break up, or it's just not, the relationship just don't hit like it used to, or open up the door for them to get that same attention that they was getting from you. They gonna get it from somebody else. Or if you was the one that wasn't getting the attention no more that you used to get, you probably gonna seek it from somewhere else or somebody else. And the Most High got time for all his children and all his creations, so that's not the threat right there. But at the same time, if we don't put that time in, how can we expect the thing for him to do his part if we not doing our part? Just put it that way. And not saying that we doing everything in a performative way so we can get stuff back, but just in any relationship, if it's one-sided, the person who's giving they all and getting nothing out of it is gonna naturally feel away. And I don't want the Most High to feel away about me, And he used to check in with me, he used to talk to me regularly, daily, even multiple times daily, and now you just so busy with sometimes even the things that you prayed for and I blessed you with, you putting that stuff before me. We got to be careful not to do that. And that's not even nothing that I sat and wrote down and planned to talk about. That's just coming to me right now as I'm sitting here with some guys call it a download. That's what's coming to me. So maybe that's what I really was supposed to speak about. But definitely make sure if you feel yourself slipping and sliding and not putting in that time in with him like what you used to do, and you wondering why things ain't going for you the way that they were going, or sometimes you might not even be wondering because it might still be going well for you, and that's good because that means I caught you in time. Make sure you putting in that time with the Creator, man. Nothing more important, nothing amongst His creations that's here with us is more important than the Creator. You know, that's the biggest thing when the people be saying the universe this and the universe that or whatever. It's like that's a creation. We supposed to give all glory and honor to the Creator, which is the Most High Yah, who made heaven and earth. Nothing here is more important than the one that created this. So anything we have, anything we feel like we need to do or have to do, it can wait a minute. It can wait until we take our time to put them prayers in and read some of His word and see what He would have us to do, how He would have us to behave in situations. That's more important than anything else. So let me just leave that little nugget. Now let me get back into this word right here. This is verse 5. There they tremble with great fear, for Elohim is the consistently righteous generation. He is with the consistently righteous generation. He with the ones that continuously do good. That's who He is. And He's with the humble. He's with the meek. He's with the downtrodden. The ones who, by the world standards, might not even be quote unquote winning in life. He might be with the ones that's losing. They say He's close to the brokenhearted and bindeth up their wounds, you know. But if you're doing right, know that He's on your side. Just like I just read earlier, fight for the truth unto death, even if it costs you your life. And know that the Most High is fighting with you. Think about Daniel in the lion's den. He got thrown in the lion's den for praying at the time, or not bowing down. No, that was who I was going to talk about next, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But Daniel got in trouble for praying, and it would have cost him his life. But what happened at the end? The Most High was in that lion's den and shut the mouths of them lions that they didn't need Him, you know. And then we got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't bow down to another deity or another so-called God, and it was supposed to cost them their life. They was fighting for what's right, even if it would have cost them their life. And what happened? The Most High sent His minister, His angel, down there into the fiery furnace with them, and they didn't even burn, and they said their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. But the people who put them in there, the fire was so hot that the people who threw them in there, they died just from getting as close as they got. But they was in the midst of it, in the middle of it, and they didn't even die. And then you got stories like Mordecai and Haman and all of them, where as though Haman built the gallows or the thing to hang Mordecai on, and then the king got the right information, and the person who built the gallows to hang him on, he ended up getting hung on the same thing that he built. Just like I said, the net into the net that he cast, let him himself fall. So even when it don't look good, even when it looks scary, even when it look like all the odds is against you, keep standing for what the Most High told you to stand for. Keep standing for what you know is right according to His word, not according to what you just woke up and thought in your head. But if it lines up with His word, you do, or not even what somebody told you. That's another thing I encourage each and every person. Get into them scriptures and read for yourself. Don't always take what somebody told you, you know, because what they say, be careful when you ask somebody for advice or for instruction, because a lot of times people will tell you what benefits them. Not necessarily what the word say, but what's good for them. You know, I had preachers tell me when I left the entertainment industry to come and dedicate my life to the Most High, it was preachers that told me, go ahead out there and get some more of that money so you could bring something to us. Ain't no scriptures tell them that. Ain't nowhere in the book say nothing like that, but that would benefit them. And like, oh, you left too soon. The video that was made after you left, man, them guys jumping out all them big cars, fancy cars and stuff like that, they really put some money into it. Now, you left before they put the money into it. You ought to go ahead back out there so you can bring us some of that money. Basically, that sounds like some pimp talk. But if I ain't read for myself or have a mind for myself, that might would have sounded good to me. And I might would have went back out there doing that, thinking that, as the scriptures say, even though they talking about something different, thinking I was doing the Most High service. The whole time I'll be doing myself, my soul, and the Most High a disservice by giving more of my life to something that was not benefiting me. What it say in Psalm 49. I'm gonna put it up on the screen because I know what I want to say, but I don't want to quote it wrong. But I'll put that up right there. See, that's it. What I was talking about. I wish I had my other phone over here so I could pull it up and read it, but y'all can read. Everybody that's watching this, I'm sure y'all pretty smart, so I know y'all can read. Let me read these couple more verses and then we wrap it up for this week. This is the same chapter, but this verse is verse 6. You evildoers shamefully plan against the poor, but Yahuwah is his safe refuge. Basically what I was just saying. The name of Yah is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and is safe. That's Psalm 18:10. I'm paraphrasing it. Then also read Sirach chapter 4 verses 5 and 6. On that, I'll put that up there so we can see that. This is verse 7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion. When Yahuwah restores his captive people, which is, we know who that is according to Deuteronomy 28:68. This is going to say us. When he restores his captive people, then Jacob will rejoice. Israel will be glad. When that happens, then that's when we'll truly be glad. Because when the wicked rule, we're not really happy. And except for the ones who just do whatever they had to do to align themselves with the wicked. And some of them is not even truly happy. They got things and it looked like they would be happy, and they put on the facade that they happy. Like I remember seeing a bunch of pictures, paparazzi photos of different celebrities, and it amazed me that the most time that they was really smiling and looked genuinely happy is in the planned photo shoots when they knew somebody was gonna come and take their picture. But in the paparazzi caught off guard shots, like, nah, man, they don't really look happy. They just know how to put it on when it come time, when the cameras turn on and they know the camera's about to be on. They know how to put it on and put on for everybody so it look like they happy and living a life. But behind closed doors, I've heard stories. I've lived my story, and I was a Z-lister at best, negative Z-lister for real. I wasn't put out there. Yeah, dude, any camera time I got, if you blink your eyes, you'll miss me, so I don't count. In my book. Somebody else might think differently, but in my book, I don't count. But I've seen like big stars, and when they put them cameras on them with the paparazzi, and they ain't know they was about to take their picture, they look miserable. But then when they know that the camera's coming, when it's a planned photo shoot, then they all pretty it up, cheesing it up for real. But true happiness is having the Most High. What it say, except the Most High build the castle, them who build it in vain. Unless the Most High keep watch over it, then the guards that sitting guard of it is doing that in vain. They wasting their time for real, because if he not in it, it ain't even nothing worth, writing home about, as my mama would say. But this has been a collaboration of what I've written and what was placed on my heart right here in front of y'all. So this is something different for me. I'm used to just coming on and reading, but this time I'm actually sharing what the Most High is giving me right as I sit here in front of everybody, and I'm grateful to him for that. And I'm hoping that everybody who's watching is being edified and at least getting something out of it. And with that being said, all praises to the Most High for getting us through another week. Prayerfully we'll do this again next week or something like it. All right, shalom.